just arrived at the bottle pit. I arrived quite early on the Sunday. Normally if you come up here on a Sunday all the weekend anglers are gone, but at the moment it is a bit still sort of rammed, unfortunately, but I'll sit tight. My dad's going to be here in about an hour and a half. This is the lake that I fished in November. If you can remember, I was sitting in there in the Baltic weather. Like I say, a very, very pretty lake. I say this lake in general is difficult. Every fish you catch is an achievement, really. I mean, you can get big hits on here. Years ago you used to be able to just live overnights and get 1 or 2 and then go home, but now it's just, I think it's hard just because of the amount of bait that goes in and about the anglers that fish it. We were planning going on that far bank where you can see that white van in the left hand corner, and also where we were planning on going was down on this right hand side here. But the trouble is, at the moment there is bivvies every other peg, so give it another hour or two, some of these anglers might go, so I'm not going to set up my stall just yet. We'll just see if anyone goes, and then we'll go from there. So that's it for the intro at the moment. Once we get all set up, etc., we'll do another catch up with you, and hopefully A, they don't spawn, and B, hopefully we can bag 1 or 2. I say we're here from today, and I'm here till Friday, and my dad will be here till Sunday, so let's hope for the best. See you later, guys. Right, well, good morning. I didn't do an update yesterday just because by the time we got all the sort of the gear and that set up, it was probably about 7:30 by the time we got the rods in. Yeah, so last night turned up, as you saw in my first opening part, lake was quite packed, so I didn't want to set up and stall up too early. Come back along the right hand side where I said we wanted to go, and as I was coming back there was a couple of people packing up. So yeah, time's now 25 to 8. So today what we're going to try and do is, well, I'm just going to keep an eye on the water. Say daytime's in here because of the heat and everything. The carp can pretty much see everything because the water's so clear. So I think I'm just going to leave my rods in the margins. I did the solid PV bags yesterday with all the bait that's going in. Probably not a good idea to put a lot of bait in, to just put solid bags on both of them yesterday. One in the right hand margin under a tree, one just down near the pads on the left hand side. There was a few jumping out in the middle earlier, sort of early on in the evening. I say early on, about 9:30 I think it was. So I'll keep an eye on that tonight. I'll probably have a look at that. I've had fish on there just putting stringers out to show them fish, but there's got to be just a few in the same area to get that going, really. So for the time being we'll just stay as we are, and might hopefully get a morning bite. I mean, morning bite is probably gone now, I can see them on the surface already, but we'll just see how it goes. I'll just turn you around so you can see the lake. Just bear with me and I'll turn you around. Right, there we go. Beautiful. Not a lot more you can kind of say about that. So you might see, I don't know how zoomed in that'll be. One just showed out there, I don't know if you saw that to the right hand side, but they're right in the middle, they're on the surface already. Yeah, not really a great deal to say really. I will get some shots of during this trip. I'll try and get some, you know, I will show rigs. I keep saying I'll show rigs in every video and I don't actually show you them really. So I'll be using solid PV bags, but I'll actually show the big components and stuff a bit later on. I'll get my dad on the video at some point as well. So for the time being, yeah, we'll leave it at that and see where we go. Right, well, good afternoon. I haven't done any updates during the day, so I do apologise for that. I will try and get myself getting the rods out, etc. Once I do it. It's now, what's the time now? Coming up to 4:45. The fish have been coming in relatively close. We have noticed that they're not coming right in the margin under the tree where I am. They're going probably about, I'd say 3 rod lengths out, and they don't seem to be coming any close. Obviously they are on the surface. Tonight I'm gonna probably leave one in the margin. I don't know where I'm gonna come, or leave it, sorry, as close as what I have been fishing over last night. What I'm thinking about doing is maybe going a bit further out, if you like, where the tree is, but just a bit further out, because they're coming about 3 rod lengths and won't be coming any closer. On the other rod, they were showing last night, there is a spy out there about 9 3/4 wrap, so we're thinking about putting a bait out there, and I'll just do a light scattering of boilies. I've got some roasted boilies all getting prepared. I've soaked them in hemp oil, roasted liquid, and I've coated them in some crushed up roasted as well, so there's a bit of a coating on them as well. And I'll get myself putting them baits out a bit later on. Yeah, apart from that, not a great deal. I might show you the rigs and stuff in a minute as well, and then we'll go from there. Speak to you later. So I just said I was going to just show you a rig piece. I mean, there isn't a great deal to show, especially on the solid bag rig. So I've just got basically it coming straight down to my, no leader on there, just straight main line, loop to loop style onto a Gemini boom. We've got the Gemini lid on there, which is a 3-ounce version. Coming down from that, we've got the Carp Mechanics braid on there. That's their supple braid. They do another one which is the Komodo D, which is like a coated hook link. That's fairly soft as well, but obviously with the solid PVA bag you just want it as supple as possible. That's going down to a size 6 Carp Mechanics size 6 wide gape, sharp as hell, straight out of the packet, no questions asked. And on the end of that, I'm using a Midtown Baits Jazz Wafter, which is like a strawberry and plum combination, and I'll be putting that into a solid PVA bag, which I can show you in a moment. Right then, here we are guys, I just tied up the solid PVA bag, so this is what we're going with. Obviously I've seen a solid PVA bag before. In there I have got, obviously you can see a bit of salt in there, rock salt, some Midtown Baits Paradox pellet. I've got some roasted mini bag mix pellets in there as well, and on the hook bait, as you saw when I showed you the rig, I've got a Jazz wafter in there. What I'll do just to finish this off, just been doing well on it recently, again probably seen it all on the videos etc. All I'm going to do, I'm going to use a bit of the well, this is the Midtown Baits hemp oil. You can use whatever hemp oil you want, but basically just get some in a syringe. We'll just do that now. So yeah, just get it in the syringe like that, put it in the bag, give it a good squirt, just make sure it doesn't go everywhere. Right, and there we have it, the hemp oil is all dispersed in the bag. I'll just show you where I'm going to put this. You probably will think, what the hell is he doing that? I'm going to put it out in the bushwhacker. I've already put a few crushed boilies in the bushwhacker as well. I have decided I'm just going to put it a bit further out because they don't seem to be coming down in that margin. It was clean as a bell when I brought the rig in, but I just don't think they're coming in that close. I have got a guy to my right as well who's fishing under the same bush. I was going to say fishing etiquette, where is that in this day and age in carp fishing? That's what happens on all your lakes. I'll just get this in the bushwhacker and let you know where I'm fishing. the go guys, you can see that it wasn't too far out, so that was about the distance in which it was coming in, so didn't want to be too close, so I was literally just under that tree down there, but it seems when we're coming in that close for whatever reason. We have a lot of sun car doors and stuff earlier on, so I'm not stupid. Let's hope this little technical move pays off, as I will show you a bit later on the other rod will be out. I'll be casting the other one out a bit later, so I'll catch you later.
Here we go, it's Jason putting his rod out. He's got his pole, and believe it or not, this is going out at 9 3/4 wraps. So instead of casting, we've got he's got a PVA bag in there, and that's full of oils. When they go out, you'll see what I mean. Oh, he's got the wrong section there. 9 3/4 wraps is a bit, just under half. Well, no, that's under halfway out there. 40 yards. 40 yards. I don't know how many sections on bushwhack I take to get it out there, but a stealthy. Sorry, just a bag. About 50 sections, you reckon? 26 sections, sorry, 26 sections to get out there. I mean, he's mastered this. I mean, I couldn't get out there that far with that. I mean, I couldn't.
Well, here we are, we're just in Dad's swim, which is just to the left of me. We found that spot 9 3/4 wraps. I've just put mine out with the bushwhacker. I can't sort of cast out there. There it goes. Absolutely perfect. So that's 9 3/4 wraps there. That's a bar, quite a solid ground out there. So I'm to the right of the float, and Dad's just gone to the left of the float. I've just spread about 15-20 ballies around it, and then I've got a Bermuda triangle PVA bag on there with an 18mm hard hooker on there. So hope for the best. Dad's just gonna, I think he's just getting some bait out of the bivvy. Kept pulling some bait out. Let's see if this is accurate. I got mine quite accurate, to be fair. That one was perfect. So we're not going to bait up too heavily out there. The fish were rolling out there about that distance yesterday, so you never know. I mean, there's less people on here now, and there's no one about 4 pegs to the left of us. There is people to the right of me, so they literally turned up, chat, and then literally put a bait exactly where I was fishing. As I mentioned earlier on, etiquette, what etiquette? There isn't any nowadays. But there we go, that's the world we're kind of living in at the moment. You're getting worse. That's better. I've probably only done about 20. We've only done about 20. There we go, that's it. So we'll close that off for now. Hopefully next time you see us will be with a fish on the bank. If not, we'll have a catch up with you tomorrow morning. We'll see you later, and hopefully we'll have a fish on the bank soon. Right, good morning. Last night nothing happened, didn't hear an alarm go off at all. My dad had a few beeps on his left hand rod that was on one at 9 3/4 wraps. Apart from that, didn't hear any alarms go off across the lake at all. It's been very quiet. Last night we were watching out in the water, the fish were acting a bit strange actually. There was a load of willow fluff on the surface, and they were not rolling as such. They were just, well, they were rolling, but in a weird way, and I just wondered if there was a fly hatch or whether they were just acting strange because of all the willow fluff. So this morning I woke up, as much as I hate zigs, I've actually gone and put a adjustable zig on my right hand rod, just using a yellow zigger line, a black bit of foam, bit of liquid on the foam, and at the minute about a foot under the surface. They're out there again, cruising around, so who knows. What are your guys' opinions on zigs? Personally, in my mind, I always say to myself, why would a fish eat a piece of foam? I know on all the videos they work. It's just I think that's a mindset thing, I suppose. Once you've had a fish or two on the zigs, then I suppose that's the only way I get confidence in what you're doing. I'm not a fan, but unless fish prove me otherwise, I just don't like using them. Obviously, you say put your comments below. I'll do a bit more videoing a bit later on. Perhaps I'll have a conversation with my dad, see what he's been doing. I say unfortunately no fish, but like I say, this lake is a kick in the nuts at the best of times. So I've done my session in November over on the club pit bank. Didn't have anything on them 5 nights. I say generally if you get a fish or two out of here, you know, over a weekend or a 5-day, you're doing extremely well. But we'll cut it off from there because I'm now waffling, and we'll catch you later on. Right, well, good evening. It's now, what day are we on now? Tuesday evening.
Yeah, Wednesday tomorrow.
Right, so today the fish have been all over us. We've had a zig out. I've tried, well, still got that on. I've got a yellow zig foam with a black aligner. I was trying a black foam on a yellow aligner. They've been all over me, fishing about half a foot under the surface, absolutely nothing. You've done the same, haven't you?
Yeah. And we'll leave the zig out tonight and just try it for the night and see what happens. So we've got one on the bottom, in close. They normally come in close, but as I say, they're not coming close enough at the minute. But I'll keep feeding it and fishing it. I'm sure by the end of the week something will come in the margin, but most of them are out in the open, as I say. So we'll try zig tonight. We haven't tried it during the night, so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I've got one just off the drop off. I say they're not coming close like they normally do, but for whatever reason, don't know. Trouble is, we think they're on the on the brink of spawning, which isn't ideal. I've fished other lakes before where they've been on the brink of spawning, and they just don't seem interested. So they've been over me all day and nothing. Tomorrow I am going to look over the other side because no one fishes over there, and I got told by a friend to go over there, bait up a few spots and just stand there for half an hour, see if they feed. If they do, go over there and take one rod, even if I just leave it on the floor and take my net and my mat over there. You never know. I'll take the camera over there just in case. Yeah, we've had our evening meal, etc. That's going to get dark very shortly, just to give you a bit of a catch up. Again, no fish on this video as of yet, but in all honesty, this lake is a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, no one else has caught nothing, so as I said, it's got hard, this lake, harder than what it should be, put it that way, but that is fished 7 days a week, so yeah, it's got rock hard. But
can't make them feed, and no. So they've seen everything in here, that's the trouble.
Yeah, so well, just keep plugging away to the end of the week and see what happens, but you just never know, and it takes a minute, don't it, to get a fish, but we should just have to see, plugging away. That's all we can do, really.
Well, we'll leave that there. I'll say hopefully we get some fish action, because these videos are really no good without any fish, really. Try and get some more pictures of the lake, etc. May even go for a walk tomorrow and just show you a few other swims on here, as I show you the ones on the club pit bank. I'll just show you some swims along this left hand side, and over on the other side if I get a chance to get some feeding in the margin. So for the time being, we'll catch you later.
Bye for now.
Well, we're just standing here on the, well, call it the match pit, the club pit. This is where kind of beginners go, just to get a bend in the rod, just went to use the toilet, and I just thought to have a look on there, and I just heard a bit of thrashing around. There we go. So they're only small carp, and they're up to double figures, and they're spawning, as you can see. And there's no signs of spawning in our lake yet, so they're on the surface. As I left my zigs out there last night, I just popped up to the surface again this morning, brought it down. The fish are all over me again. No one's caught anything. The two guys to the right of me, they've now gone, so there's only literally 3 of us on the lake, so the carp are going to be well spread out. Just got to hope for a fish. Speak to you later. Hope you have more luck than us, fella. Right, afternoon guys, and obviously there's nothing to show because you haven't seen any fish action. Just thought I'd just to kind of fill the video up, if you like, just show you 1 or 2 other swims. Like I say, I'm in peg 30. I'm just going up to peg 31, so this is basically just around the corner from the match lake that I showed you earlier on the video using my phone. So if I just spin you round, you'll see this is peg 31. So all the banks here are high. If you haven't been here before, obviously, sorry, this is on a club ticket, so obviously you'd have to pay, I think, up to £90 for the year for this lake and the one next door. The only issue is with these lakes, or this lake anyway, is the steep bank. So I'm gonna stand up on the high bank. Each bank is pretty much like that down to the rod. It is quite steep. So if we just come up here on the highest part of the bank between peg 31 and 32. So as you can see, it's not a small lake. I think I showed you last time I was fishing over there is where I was in the winter when I was fishing in that Baltic weather by myself. If you stand up there, you can see the whole length of the lake, and it's quite a large lake really. I was kind of hoping standing here would see some on the surface. There has been a shoal of bream coming through here, which I thought was carp. I've been on the zigs all day again. I just lowered it down because I was a foot under the surface and not getting anything. So we tried kind of all depths really, 6 inches a foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. I was just a foot under the surface last night, nothing. Tonight I've got a plan of action which I will show you. I'm just thinking that these fish at the moment, obviously they're on the surface, for whatever reason they're not getting in the margins at the moment. I don't know whether it's because of the blue dye. Let me just see if I can show you. You can't really see it down there. So these margins are fairly deep and they slope down, but some of the areas close in, they're kind of like sand, and normally if you put some bait in there and be patient, the fish will come in there and feed. But for some reason I've gone this swim here, the next swim up in the corner's very good when the sun's shining in there, which it will be shortly. And there's just nothing about it. My dad's now doing a lap of the lake. He's going around to peg 10, which is on the other side of that rope. Now over there the margins are about 3 foot deep, 4 foot deep, and then it goes down into the deeper water, and the fish do go up on them shelves to feed. But like I said a minute ago, they just do not seem, no matter where, I just don't want to come close in for whatever reason. I have no idea. I've had a bait under that tree down there. Now normally that would be a banker. There's pads down there, just go on the outside edge there. Yeah, normally that's that would be a winner, but not this session. So yeah, I've got a plan of action for tonight which I'll show you later on. I think we just need to try and pull these fish down wherever they are. So my dad went over to the pegs over there opposite where the reeds are. He saw 6 fish over there. That's where they generally spawn, so they're not grouping up to spawn. There's the old one on the surface. Where are these fish? I mean, I think the last couple of nights they haven't shown at all. Hopefully I'm pointing the camera down. They say that bow wave, don't know if you can see that on camera. I don't know if that's a carp or not. I say because there has been shoals of bream coming through here, but without a polarized lens on the camera you're probably not going to see it anyway. Here we are. something close just down here. No, I can't even see it with my polaroid. I saw a bit of a bow over there, thinking that would be either a carp or a bream coming through there, but no. Right, we'll just walk down here a little bit. My dad's looking after the rods at the moment, so no bother there. So these swims, you're a bit hemmed in, because if you're cast them out sort of so many wraps out there, the people who are on that bank on the right hand side can cast over you. But again, very good edge spot, so I don't know again if you'll see that down there where that duck's just gone in. Basically there's gravel like that, and then it's quite clear for, you probably see 3-4 foot down, and then it shelves off. That's where they generally come in, but for some reason they're not. So that'll be it for now. I'll spin around to myself again. Yeah, that will do for now. So I will show you a bit later on what my thinkings are anyway. That's about the only thing I haven't tried. I just think, like I say, we've got to try and get these fish pulled down to the bottom, and I think we've got a way of doing that. Tried everything else, why not? Me and my dad are the only 2 people on here now. When we first turned up, there's probably 6, 7, well actually no, there's more than that, there's probably about 10 people on here. I don't know if this is pressure that doesn't fish very well, and as far as I'm aware, since we've been here, I mean, you can hear a pin drop. So if there was a run anywhere, you'd hear it, and we've had absolutely nothing. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now, and I'll show you the tactics later on, and hopefully there is a fish on here. But if there's not, we're keeping it real. So I'm filming pretty much every session I go on now, blanks included. It's not called catching, it's called fishing. If it was catching, then it would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? So right, I'll catch you later on. Well, good afternoon. It's now Thursday afternoon. Didn't do any catch up with you this morning. After put the bait out last night, I was going to show you a video of the spot slicking up. Also I had 3 savage liners on my right hand rod. And unfortunately that didn't materialise into anything. I did have one where literally the hanger came up to the butt, dropped down again. I thought I was in, but probably a savage liner. Redone them this morning. This afternoon someone gave me an idea and I thought I'd give it a go. That was just crumbing up a load of bait and basically doing kind of ground bait balls, but just with obviously with ball drum. So I put that out the bushwhack for 4 balls with a bit of handball again today. It's all been slicking up, but again, nothing to show for it. I haven't done the right hand rod throughout the day after this morning. I still don't know whether to redo it, put it back out on that spot, or even try the margin at the minute. That's kind of, well, don't know what to be doing.
Well, there's nothing in the margins. I mean, I've walked the lake 4 times now and haven't seen one fish in the margins. They're all out in the open water. I'm just using bags, so I've glagged all the bags up. I'm not putting bait in because it's absolutely pointless, I think, but all people here the weekend, so I expect a loads went in, so just fishing for a bite basically. But as tomorrow is Friday, that means there's going to be a load of people again because it's bank holiday. Out come the spod rods again, so if I'm hoping to get one tonight before all that happen, because all that bait going in isn't going to help anybody really. So we shall just have to see what happens. I think they're in getting that way towards spawning now, so I won't give them that long. The bream has started shoaling up, so I don't think the carp will be far behind, but I'm glad I'm home Sunday. As I said, that's been a hard old week again. Tried everything we can, pop-ups, wafters, zigs for 2 nights, different depths, not even a bleed.
Those
So-
jigs have done like 6 inches under the surface, a foot under the surface, 2 foot under the surface. They were all over me
Yeah.
2 days ago. The thing is, the last 3 nights, haven't even seen a show. I mean, you guys, I don't know if you fish at lakes similar to this. I say this water, like I say, is gin clear, up to 17 foot deep. There's several carp in here. I mean, comment down below what you think you would do. I say if they're not in the margins, they do normally come out in the margins, but they're just not there. So why would you put a bait there in the first place? In this situation, would you bait up your spot? Would you spawn? Would you do the same as everyone else? Because I'm always trying to be different. Obviously, trying to be different this week again hasn't worked. But like I say, this place is just just a kick in the nuts every single time. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what would you do? That is the question.
Well, we tried everything, so what more can you do? I know sometimes they won't feed, but it's not been a fish out since last Sunday.
Well, so we.
So people have said, but I don't know. But I've seen people say this week I haven't seen anything, any buzz go off or nothing. So,
But we've been chasing around with dog biscuits and stuff, and all you're doing is feeding the birds. There's your one coming up. I did see someone over on the club pit bank doing it, and there's 1 or 2 coming up, but they're not taking them with gusto. So, yeah, if they're not showing, then, well, we haven't seen any margins. Again, what do you do? I say the majority of this lake is deep. I say at the minute we're fishing, well, I'm fishing 9 3/4 routes, which is about 18, 19 foot, which you'd think is, well, it's deep. But we've had it in the past where if you've done that 5, 6 years ago, it didn't matter what depth of water. I mean, them fish have been in here for years. They swim in that depth of water. You would not catch anything in the heat. But as soon as that dropped down, you put a few spots of particle in, and you'd still catch them. So what's changed?
one thing I will say, they've dyed it again. The last time they done this, it affected the fishing also. Do you think that affect the fishing?
Yeah, the blue dye.
So I think it does. But say, leave your comments again. What's your thought on that?
I say because the water, where the lily pads are in our margin, we see the pads underwater rather than being like a normal green colour like on the surface. They're like a turquoisey blue. It's weird. So if you put a yellow pop up like that, are they sending yellow pop up? Are they sending like a neon green pop up? Just making up excuses now while we're blanking, but every single one of these things, I said we've tried everything, but in reality the carp in here have seen everything. Again, not making excuses, but they're old carp in here, and the big uns have seen it all. We've seen carp in here. You put tiger nuts, you put ballies in the margin, they'll clear up the tiger nuts and leave your ballies alone. We've had it where you put a big bed of sweet corn in, they'll just spook off it because they know it's dangerous. All these things, I mean, how do you overcome it? That's the question.
Yeah, that is it. I mean, you could try maggots, I suppose, and worms, but there again, then you'll be plagued with bream and perch and tench. So that's, I don't know what the answer is really. So I don't know.
So the fish were coming out of here because I say the big one come out. Must come out 3 times in the space of about 3 or 4 weeks. So there has been fishing. Someone I know had one on a zig, which was literally on the Sunday morning before we turned up. So there's the other one coming out, but that's a bit worrying that, well, as far as we know, like we say, there's no carp in out here for a whole week. Yeah, I mean, like I say earlier on, this is the bottle pit. The pit next door is the club pit. If you did fancy joining, I think it's £90 for these 2 lakes, and there is various other lakes on the complex. You've got number 1 pit on here, you've got the ocean pit, which is a massive 98 pit behind us, you've got the middle pit, which is like the runs water, and I haven't missed any of them.
No, I think they got a little bit of the river as well.
Bit of the river, and there is a kingfisher pit over the back of here, but not many people fish there. There's another one on the ticket. I think the full ticket. Oh, no, I'm guessing now.
I think full ticket for, depends how many rods you have, but I think for 3 rods for an adult it's £240. For 3 rods, and then a concession if you're over 65 you get it cheaper. So I think it's £175 for 3 rods, so it's not good value really.
So you can have a bait boat ticket on the big pit behind us, that 90-acre pit. You can't use bait boats on the other waters, but
No.
I mean, for that kind of money, I say the number 1 pit, which is basically out of the car park just over the road there, that kind of money, there's 30s in there. It's, I say, for that kind of money, I know it's £280 like Dad said, but where else in the country for £280 a year can you get that stamp of fish, as well as the ocean pit behind us? And there's, I say, there's several 30s in here as well, so I mean, it's good value for money. The only trouble you've got on here, if you go during the week like we have, it's quieter. It's not quiet, but it's quieter, and you just, if you're not up here before Friday lunchtime, Friday afternoon, you might as well just stay at home. It's like a rat run or a rat race till you swim. So yeah, well, also there's a bit of a rundown of the lakes on offer here. Hopefully this isn't the end of the video. Hopefully we can get 1 or 2. Again, I do apologise for, well, at the moment there being no fish on here, but as we say, we're keeping it real. You can't catch a fish on every single time you go, especially on a lake like this. As I say, I try and fish different venues. I'm taking you on, as people say, I'm taking you on my journey, should we say. Every time I'm going fishing, I'm getting the camera out, and I'm doing the best to get the best possible footage for you. So we'll leave that for now, and hopefully we see you before the end of the video with the fish. Catch you all later.
Bye for now.
Well guys, that's a wrap. Yeah, done the 5 nights and nothing to show for it. We have been speaking to a few people. I say I always go on a Friday because the lake gets totally rammed. My dad, unfortunately, he wants to go, but his mate can't pick him up until Sunday, so he's going to have to fish for a couple of more nights. Yeah, I mean, there has been the odd couple coming out. Obviously we just speak to 1 or 2 of the regulars, and it looks as though the majority of the fish have been coming out off the surface or over depth zigs. So yeah, that's something we didn't do. Obviously we had zigs under the surface, but not over depth. So that'll be something to think about maybe next time around. So hopefully I've got enough content for you. I say this one has been a bit boring, obviously, again with no fish, but we weren't expecting a great deal of fish anyway. If you could please like, subscribe, do all the usual stuff, comment on the video if you can, let me know what you think, all them types of things, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.